Good evening, everyone. This is Fide 7, bringing you another game from the Australian Open 2013 in Melbourne. The game I'm bringing you tonight is a game between International Master Stephen Solomon, the second ranked player in Queensland, Australia's number 7 on the Fide list, and a living legend in chess, to be honest, and he's playing the white pieces against up-and-coming junior from New South Wales. His name is Pengyu Chen. On the Fide list, his rating is 21-21, and he is 62 second ranked player in Australia. However, on the ACF list, which differs a little bit, he's 50th, and not really sure what he's 15 in the state for New South Wales. The thing is, with the ACF ratings for New South Wales, are a little bit overinflated compared to the Fide ratings, compared to the rest of the country. Anyway, this was a fantastic game. It really was. I watched it and I just thought, wow, what a game. To me, it's been the game of the Australian Open so far, and Solomon opens up with e4, Pengyu opens e5, and knight f3, knight 6, standard moves. Knight puts pressure on e5, black defends with a knight. And now bishop b5, the Ruy Lopez, one of the most common openings in chess, and certainly if you play e4 you need to know these sort of systems. a6, Morphy's defense, the question's put to the bishop, and the bishop drops back to a4. So far everything's completely normal. Knight f6, good developing move. White castles into safety, this is normal. Bishop e7, which is the closed defense with the bishop. Rook e1, good move. b5, bishop b3, and these moves have been played a lot before. d6, c3, black castles, h3 to stop the bishop g4 move. Knight a5, trying to gain the bishop pair. Bishop repeats to c2, retreats. c5 to make d4 less effective in the center, and white play d4 anyway. And now we have the first move that I don't know of because I'm not an e4 player. Knight d7. What's the idea of this move? To me, it seems to indicate that black wants to free up the f pawn. Maybe they want to. Also, they've got to guard the e pawn. This is true as well. This e-pawn here is attacked by d4 and knight f3, so it looks as if they have to defend that e-pawn. So this must be sort of a normal move in these sort of systems. White develops. I know the knight normally pops over to g3 in the Ruy Lopez. It's about as far as my knowledge goes, but that seems to be a pretty decent move. And now, like, it's white's turn now. White recaptures, and black retreats the knight, putting pressure on the d4 square. So now we see that d4 is attacked by knight c6, c5. It's only defended by the knight on f3. Now the logical way to resolve this would be to push the pawn, in my opinion, or I guess you could move the knight as well to save it, but d5 makes sense. You push the pawn through the center. Now the center is getting clarified, and the knight on c6 is attacked by the d5 pawn. Knight runs to the center. This makes sense too. And now we see that this knight on d7 is well placed because it backs up the knight on e5. Should knight take, knight can capture back. White's turn here, and Stephen Solomon took. Black captured with the knight, and now he played a4. This is a good move. What it does is, it's got a threat. The threat is a takes b5, and then if pawn captures, you win the rook on a8. So black has to meet this threat, and they can either, if they play b4, they're going to at least cede the c4 square to white, which after f4 could lead to a good advantage, or they're going to have to protect that square on b5 in another manner. Let's see what they do. rook b8, that makes sense to protect the rook in this way. And now white will be able to gain the b file if they decide to white will gain the a file if they decide to open up the a file with the pawn exchange a takes b5. This is what he does. Captures, and I expect black will capture with the pawn here. And see, now we see that this rook owns the a file. The rook on a1 just controls all the squares on the a file. Solomon's turn. I presume f4 was played here. Even though I watched this game, I was looking around other games as well, so I didn't remember all the moves off by heart. But f4, now, this seems pretty good. The question is put to the knight, and now the knight has to decide where it's going to move to. I recommend to anyone who's playing, who's just started as well, just always look around at every square really quickly that you can move to it. Just quickly judge which ones you think are the better ones. By noticing which squares you can move to, you give yourself more options, and then it's just a matter of judging which squares are good and bad, sort of. So the knight moves, and this makes sense because now